Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It is Candy here from SweetStamper.com, and I'm so happy to be with you here today. There's a lot of things I have to share with you. It is the first day of July, and it's the first day of an awesome Stampin' Up! Special, and that is the Designer Series paper sale. So, no surprises here that we are going to be working with Designer Series paper. So, hello there, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes here while people jump on. We are experiencing some really mild summer temperatures, which is a big deal in Texas, any part of Texas, but especially here in South Central Texas, mild summer temperatures are a rare treasure. So, hey Marlene, I'm glad you're here. We had our last day with the grandkids, and obviously my son, I say obviously, my son and his wife, we love seeing them too. Hey Barb. But you know, those grandchildren, they're young for such a short period of time. So they actually left super early Monday morning, 5:45. I was not awake when they left. My husband took them to the airport. So we had good nights the night before. I honestly didn't think that anybody would be very with it on Wednesday morning. But my husband said that the grandkids were actually bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you know, when you're 2 years old, when you're not even a year old. It doesn't really matter what time of day it is nearly as much as it does for us as adults. So, hey, Kay, I'm glad you're here. And Betty, welcome, welcome. So I am going to go ahead and bring the camera down because, like I said, I've got a lot to share with you today. If you're just now coming on, today is the first day of the Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper sale. And there are, I think it's 9 different papers on for 15% off. These are in the annual catalog. So instead of being $11.50, I think they come out to like, I want to say $8.78, maybe it's $9.78. It's something in 78 cents. Math is not my strong suit. Hey, Michelle, let me bring the camera down and we'll talk about Designer Series paper. Make sure that I'm seeing what you were seeing so that I don't have you all wonky and not seeing what I intend for you to see. So yes, this is the Designer Series paper. If you have a physical copy of the annual catalog, then you are lucky enough to be able to turn into your pages. I'm at 130 and 131. And Michelle, I see you are joining us from New York. I'm assuming you mean New York State. And I did see where you're having the really hot weather. And yeah, now you understand what Texas in summer is like, which is, yeah, not for the faint of heart, shall we say. Okay, so here we go with our Designer Series paper. And I just wanted to show you kind of which ones are on sale. I have an email that's not quite ready to go out. So if you're not already on my email list, you're going to want to get there. And I usually put that link on my Facebook Live so that you can jump into that. It's a free email, and that way you kind of know all about my classes. And I also share about Stampin' Up! Specials and lots of other things. So yeah, Susie, you love your paper share. Yay! And this is perfect. Today's project is perfect. If you're a paper share person, I do paper shares with each new catalog, and you get some of all the papers, and sometimes you look at one of them and go, what am I going to do with that? So I've got one of those we're going to feature today. So Beauty of the Earth is in the paper special, and Bloom Where You're Planted, not this one. Basically any of the ones that are $15, because typically those are they're specialty papers, and typically they have like gold stuff in them. They're not included in the sale. Hand Penned, which is a gorgeous, they're all gorgeous, set of Designer Series paper. Even this In Good Taste, which is a ultra big stack. It is 24 sheets of paper instead of 12, so it's like a double stack, but it's 12 different designs. So it's really a cool stack, and I'll share with you a little bit more about that. In the Wild, which is what I'm featuring today, Pansy Petals, And then again, you're going to skip this gold, silver, blingy one. And you're going to come down here to Sweet Symmetry. Beautiful set of papers. That one's in the sale. Christmas Tidings. We have an awesome Christmas designer series paper in the annual catalog, and I will tell you that the B side of a lot of these is really good for masculine cards, or even just if you like more tailored designs. And then last but not least, You Are a Peach designer series paper. So there's lots of papers that are on special. Hey, Kristen Tobin, I'm so glad you're here with me today. Awesome stuff. Now let me show you really quick before we go into today's project, which we are going to be featuring in the wild. But wait, before I go there, let me show you my new card class. You know, every month I do cards with a twist, and I just finished my designs, so I don't have my event open yet. It will be open before the end of the day, but I just wanted to show you what you get and what the cards are. So this is the paper that I'm featuring in good taste, and lots of wood grains, but also just tiles and all kinds of fun, very neutral patterns that you can use. I am featuring this stamp set, Garden Birdhouses, and just so much, such awesome nature images. And you know me, I'm a little bit, I like to color, but I like to color in a little bit. I don't like to color where it takes you like 3 hours to make a card. So these are small images to color. I'm actually going to show you some fun things to do with the watercolor pencils. And let me show you, if you're not familiar with my Cards with a Twist, it's my monthly $35 class. Hey, Melissa. We do 2 each of 4 designs, but there's always a twist with each set of designs. So let me show you what I mean. So here's the first set, and there's the twist. You can see already. The twist is that we use some of the same basic things, and then we do a little bit of something different. I think I'm a little bit off on where I am. Do I need to go up or down? I think I need to go down. Okay, so there's one set, the birthday wishes with the little birdhouse. And then I have actually 2 sets of fancy folds this time. So this one actually has this really calm, very quiet designer series paper on the inside. So this one is featuring blues. And the embellishments we're going to be using is this faux suede trim, really fun. And then we're going to be using the metallic pearls. So they're very small and very subtle. Hey, Valerie. Oh, I'm so glad you liked the Magnolia embossing demonstration. So you got yours and you tried it. Yay, yay. That makes my heart happy. Hey, Diane, I'm glad you're here. And Twyla's here. Yay. So this is the second Cards with a Twist design. You can see the twist. We use different designer papers, different blues. Yeah, lots of fun twists. So that's one of the fancy folds. Here's another one. And this, again, you've got a little bit of a twist. We've got just little pops of pumpkin pie here. And on this one, we have more pops of melon mambo. And again, there are your little metallic pearls in there. And then last but not least, here is a second fun fold, and this is a gate fold. And so I don't have my insides finished yet because I just finished these designs this morning. But this is your second set of fancy folds, fun folds. And I'm going to show you some fun ways of, this is like we blended 2 different colors to get this particular shade of green, which is different from the old olive. So yeah, I'm going to show you some fun things to do with that. That is going to be released today, Cards with a Twist, featuring Garden Birdhouses. So I think these are, you know, these are honestly, in my mind, they're kind of summary cards. But you could easily take the colors. This one's kind of universal. You could easily take these colors and make this into a fall leaves. You could just change the colors out on the leaves and make them more pumpkin pie. and a little bit of yellow in there and have a very different look. So thank you so much for sharing my video, Kristen. That helps me tremendously. I appreciate it so much. Okay, let's talk In the Wild. In the Wild is actually part of a full-on suite in the catalog, but I don't actually have the suite. I have the paper, and that's it. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what you can do with some awesome designer paper if you don't have the coordinating products to go with it. So we're going to do 2 of these at one time today, and we'll do them side by side because we do simple and then we do stepped up. So I thought I would bring in my trimmer and show you a little bit of the trimming that I'm going to do today. So, and these are papers that I've already been chopping into. So I'm going to make a 3x4 piece of this kind of evening evergreen leopard print. Super cool paper. And these are really easy cuts. So in my Cards with a Twist class, the one thing I don't prepare for you is your designer series paper, but I give you super easy cuts. And this is a cut that I use a lot. And it's 5 1/4 by 4 and 3 by 4. And I'll show you why I use that cut in just a minute. So I just thought that while I'm on here, so that you would kind of see how simple the process is of doing 5 1/4 by 4 cuts. So there, that one, you can see how that's already being built. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the scraps on that envelope. We are going to do the same thing with this leopard print. Actually, these are tigers. Tiger print, and I can tell you that a lot of us have grandkids that would love this. And not only grandkids, I mean, tigers and leopards and cheetahs and all these wild animals. Lots of people have there's a lot of wide appeal for this, not just amongst the men, but amongst the women too. So lots of appeal for this. And this pattern here kind of reminds me of something very tropical, a little bit Hawaiian, with that kind of bold graphic. So let's see where we can move on now. The only thing I'm going to need that for maybe is to do my envelopes, which I'll do in a minute. So let's start with this one. And I probably need to get, where did my paper go? I think I'm going to need this. So we are going to build some super, super simple cards, and I'm going to feature this greeting stamp set. I used this in my Cards with a Twist last month. Lots of fun greetings, and what drew me here was this bold pattern. These are pretty bold patterns here, and I like to, for the most part, kind of pair the boldness of designs or the softness of designs. And I am going to grab my piercing mat here. When you're using your photopolymer stamps, you do get a better adherence when you use your, what do you call it? Piercing mat. I just had it. Now, I need to put this on here. That's going to be for the inside. Now, I may have just, do I want to do that, or do I want to do that for the greeting? That's a lot of that Cajun Craze color. That's pretty strong. So I think we could even just go white. How does the white look? A little bit boring. Let's just go with this. And I think, I forgot to measure this out. Let's see. You can see how dirty my other side is. I think this is, yeah, it's right about 1 inch. So let's make this, let's go with the thanks. Let's go with 1 inch by 2.5 or 3 and see how we get on. I thought I was done with this, but I'm not. I wasn't there yet. So let's go with like 1 1/4 inches. And you know, one thing I will say about sometimes you have a really strong color is you can get too much of a good thing if you do too much of that one color. So that's where we're going to go into something a little bit softer for the greeting. So let's go ahead and do this, and then we'll do the greeting next. So you see how that's already, you're already there. Look what a pretty card you have. Really, really nice. The designer paper kind of does all the work for you. And when you have artists that create these gorgeous papers, it's like they do all the hard work and then we just get to have fun with it. Now you see you could go this way. But you see that's a little bit too busy. So I think the key here is you have to have at least one quieter pattern, what's oftentimes called the B-side in the stamping world. And then your other pattern is going to be your focal point. So this is actually a perfect background. And because this is a dark cardstock, I'm going to put this white panel, which is the exact same size. Yeah, Kristen, you're liking this. I'm thinking this is right up your alley. You love critters, and the wilder the better. This is a 5 1/4 by 4 piece that I'm going to put on the inside. And I think what I'm going to do is this little piece that I cut off here, that will make a perfect little accent on the inside. So that's just a piece of paper I was going to throw away. So that's a scrap, and it's going to be perfect for, this is going to be perfect for bringing a little bit of customization and design to the inside of my card. I think I'm going to do it at the bottom. I could do it at the top, but I think I'm going to do it at the bottom. And let's see. Might have a little bit of white poking out. That's okay. Now, this, I'm actually going to pop this up on dimensionals. So let's bring in our little dimensionals here, and we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 in the middle. So we haven't even used any stamps or ink yet. This is all just designer series paper and coordinating cardstock. So look at those tigers. Aren't they awesome looking? Like I said, I have grandchildren, boys and girls, who would love this. I have friends who would love this. This goes in a lot of different directions. So let's just go ahead and put our greeting like so. And I decided to use Evening Evergreen. And yes, these tabs are exactly elevating the cardstock, Kristen. So if you can see how it gives just that little lift. They're called dimensionals, and they give you that little lift so that it really has an art quality look to it. This looks like a little canvas that's popped up with your paper behind it. So yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. Let's bring our little mat out, because with our clear photopolymer stamps, this is going to make life a little bit better. And this is one of our brand new in colors called Evening Evergreen, a super, super deep green. And I'm going to ink up my thanks and then just pop it right here. This is a 1 1/4 inch wide piece of soft succulent. And I thought that would probably, because your greeting is about 1 inch. So there, I think I'm going to flag the end, and I'm pretty much there. Let's see. Let's use the tailored tag to flag the end. You could just hand cut the end, but you know, I always like to just do it this way. It's simpler, and it's nice and straight. That is ready to go there, and boom, I have a really pretty, quick and easy card. I mean, you make that in just seconds. Now, what I am going to do, just a little detail that's not essential, I'm going to take a couple of the little mini dimensionals and put them on the very end, because this is already popped up. And when I put this flat on the paper here, I don't want the edge to kind of like be depressed, not depressed in mood, but like hanging down. Now you see, I want to make sure that I see that little tiger, so I don't want to cover up his face. I want to be able to see him, and just line that up like so. Boom, super simple, custom card. And if I wanted to, what I could also do is, let's just take a little bit more of this paper that I already had, just, you know, kind of a scrap that's cut, waiting for another project. What I can do is, I can do this on the envelope flap. So let's just do that. My favorite way to do that is to use this Tombow liquid glue, and I'm using actually kind of the broad end. And the trick with this is to just get a super thin layer of glue, get it all the way to the edge, because this is going to go through the very rigorous machines from the United States Post Office. So I'm just going to lay this right up against the flap like so. And then I'm going to turn it over, and that's going to tell me where to cut. And I just have some long bladed scissors here. And I'm just going to cut like so. And let's go all the way around. So this is the way, another thing, you know, when you're getting your designer series paper at a discount, then hey, why not use it, more of it, to just create that lovely flap. So then, look at there. I have got very little, I just did a little bit of stamping. And honestly, folks, if you don't have stamps per se, let's say you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. If you're Paper Pumpkin, you get a little stamp set every month anyway. So any set of greetings would work on that. So there's our symbol. Now let's take this and let's step it up just a wee bit. This time I'm going to take a piece of the soft succulent, which is what I used on my greeting here. And I've already got my half sheet of cardstock ready to go. So let's grab a bone folder. And once again, we are going to put, this time, on this one we did the quiet pattern here and the kind of busier pattern as the focal point. We're going to do the opposite this time. So I'm going to do the kind of leopard, is that a leopard or a cheetah, on the front. And, oh, I'm glad you like the Evening Evergreen. Kristen, it's a really pretty color. You see, I could go this way too. But that's a little bit, I want to use the, I like all the colors in this one. Ooh, look at those tigers. Ooh, look at there. Okay, don't get distracted, Candy. Stay with what you're doing. So I'm going to just take a little bit of seal. I could also just use my liquid glue. I tend to go with whatever's quicker for whatever I'm doing at any given point. And then I am going to pop this little guy up on dimensionals, which I have put here. And this time we're going to dress it up a little bit. So I'm going to dress it up by, because this is going to be our stepped up card. So let's see how we can step this up and make it a little bit fancier, add a few more little doodads, because that's what we love doing. Hey, Valerie, no problem. Thanks for letting us know that you're heading out. I hope you'll catch the replay later to see the end of what we do with this In the Wild Designer Series paper. Having lots of fun with it. So let's go ahead and pop that up there. I'm digging it. It's looking good. Now there should be another little offcut of paper. Here it is. See, because when I cut that, I had that little 1-inch piece on both of these. What do you call them? Both of these pieces of Designer Series paper. Let me grab my silicone mat. If you're struggling with your seal at all, just do like that and it gets your seal going again. And you know, this, well, I said it gets, I think I'm out. No wonder it's not going. I'm at the end. Okay, let me, here we go. you know, the silicone mat, the other thing this is fabulous for, well, it's fabulous for a lot of things. I used it on Tuesday to make a little paint palette with my pastel chalks. It's also fantastic if you do hot glue projects. Really fantastic for hot glue. Okay, I need a little piece of this. I should have a piece of basic white to go on the inside there. Where did you go? Where did you go? I need my piece of Whisper White cardstock, basic white now. Where are you? Let me grab another one. I tend to make a lot of these 5 1/4 by 4 white panels because they're the perfect size to put on the inside of your card. I could leave this as is because this lighter soft succulent, you could write on this very easily. The basic white just kind of dresses it up a little bit. I always use this on a darker colored cardstock like this because it's harder to write on this color and have it really visible, but it just kind of finishes it off too. So I thought, well, you know, even though I could write on the soft succulent, I'll just pop this on there, and then that just kind of gives it that finished look. I haven't done that in a while. I know that you guys have done this before. This is what happens when Candy talks. Okay, there we go. Always open the card to see that you're doing it right side up. Or you end up doing what I just did and putting it on the inside. Okay, now we're back to where we need to be. Okay, let's see what we can do. I think we're going to use this color here for the greeting as well. I could pull this in, but I think it's a little bit dark. So let's do a hello this time. And we're going to use the same Evening Evergreen ink. And this time we're going to do hello. And you know, with your photopolymer stamp, you always want to just kind of hold it down for a couple of seconds to make sure your ink is transferring nicely to your cardstock. And then I thought that what I could do to kind of dress this one up a little bit is let's try punching it out and seeing. Here's my postage stamp punch. I use this rather a lot. And let's see if that doesn't give it just a little bit of presence. Now what we could do is we could even, do we like this? Should I make a frame for this? Or should I leave it just tone on tone? That's kind of nice too, because I am going to add a little bit of a ribbon, and I've got a number of choices here. So if we're going to dress this up a little bit, let's talk. We could add this twill woven Evening Evergreen. I like this a lot. I think it adds some real depth to what we're doing. I could add this Just Jade with this little bit of gold in it. That's kind of adds a little bling. I think I kind of like the earthiness of this one better, but I'm going to wait till anybody comments to see what you think. Now I could, this is Evening Evergreen, but this is that organza ribbon, I think it's called, and see, it's a little delicate to me. Now it does soften it, but I think it's a little bit, again, I'm kind of liking that earthiness of that thicker woven twill ribbon. That's a better fit. Now I could also, picking up the same color of the soft succulent, here again is the softer. That's kind of nice. Again, it just really, really makes it soft and feminine. This makes it a little bit more earthy. And then kind of my wild card is we could even throw in that gingham. Now it might be a little busy because these are pretty heavy patterns. So I'm going to see, hey Simone, I'm glad you're here with us today. We are designing cards with In the Wild Designer Series paper. So while you guys are figuring out what you think about that, I am going to, maybe I'm going to use that one on the flap. You know, this is the other side of this is the one we started with, and I'm just picking this up to move it over, and I could even do that on the flap. That would be kind of fun. Or we can keep it all in the same and we can keep that pattern going, or use the contrast on the envelope. I kind of like that. So let's see what we can do on this envelope. Waiting for input on the ribbon choice. And while we're waiting on input for the ribbon choice, I'm going to find my adhesive. If you put it away, Candy, then you'll always know where it is. But yeah, that doesn't happen too often for me. So somewhere on this table, here we go, there is my liquid glue. So let's put this right on the envelope flap, and I get it pretty near the edge, but not over the edge. And then let's add this. I think this is a cheetah print. I don't think it's a leopard. I think it's a cheetah. Don't totally know the difference between these two animals, but I know my oldest granddaughter loves cheetahs, so I have a little bit of familiarity with them. Not a lot. Olivia is 11, and she loves cheetahs, and I'm pretty sure this is a cheetah print. I think it might have something to do with the size of the spots, and maybe the shape of the spots, or something like that. Maybe we have a wildlife expert on here, or a big wildlife fan on here that can tell us the difference. So there is my envelope. I'm not seeing anybody weigh in and tell me what they're thinking. I think I'm going to definitely remove this one because I don't think we're going to use that. And let's clean up these punches because I have a little bit of bling too. So we can add just a wee bit of maybe bling, maybe accent. So let's just see what we're thinking here. What have I got? So this is my colors. These are my ribbon choices. And, oh, we could even go this way. Could go in the opposite direction. Except I kind of put my leaves going the other way, so that's not really going to work. But I have a couple of choices. These are the In Color Jewels. They bring just that little bit of shine, which I like. And this is the Soft Succulent, and this is the Evening Evergreen. Both look really nice. This also works because this Just Jade blends very nicely, and this yellow kind of picks up the yellow. And this Cinnamon Cider kind of looks a little bit like the Cajun Craze in there. So these are a matte finish. These are definitely an iridescent finish. So let's see what we can come up with. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this down like so. And let's see if maybe, do we want to do that underneath and just kind of leave the ends out? I kind of like that. Yeah, let's try that. I think I need my ribbon scissors here. And let's just trim this like so, and then we can trim it up once we get it down. Nobody's giving me an opinion, so I'm just going to go with my own. Let's see, here we go. I decided to use this kind of twill ribbon. I like it a lot. And I know it has, it's Evening Evergreen something. So let's just put that right like so. Now I will trim those ends. And let's pop this up on dimensionals because we have that. Actually, I don't think I need them because I think this is going to act like a dimensional. And the ribbon is lifting it for me because it's quite thick. So let's put a couple of glue dots on here. Glue dots are most every ribbon glue dots work fabulously with. So let's just go like so. And now we will trim this down and trim this down. Hello. Isn't that cute? I like it. I do like that bold font with this paper. So here is my card number 1. Here is my card number 2. This is my simple, and I've stepped up with adding a little bit of ribbon, and I've also added a punch, and now I'm going to add a little bit of bling. And I do think these go really nicely, but these kind of do too. So I'm a little betwixt and between. I think I'm going to actually pick up, oh, thank you, Linda. I'm glad you like these. I think I'm actually going to pick up that kind of cinnamon cider because it taps into that Cajun Craze, and I think it actually looks really good. I can't find my take a pick tool. So let's just do this. I also kind of like these square gems because they're bold, and that's kind of the overall look here is not froofy and frilly and shiny. It's bold, and I like that. So let's go with bold there. And let's, whoopsie, it just came off on my finger. Where'd it go? Probably, oh, I feel it somewhere. Oh, Susie, I'm glad you like the ideas for using this paper. Yeah, I think, you know, when I looked at this suite, I loved the paper, but I thought, I don't know that I would actually make use of the stamps. I like them, but I don't, you know, wildcats are just not my thing. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure I'm going to actually get the suite. I think I'm just going to get the paper. Now, somehow this is shifting a little bit on me. I think that what I'm going to do, because this needs to be secure, oh, I like that. I'm liking that rather a lot, is let me grab my seal. And you know, this stuff actually works really well on ribbon too, so I think that's going to secure that. Yeah, that's what I needed right there. And maybe, no, that one's okay. So what do we think? There is our simple. Let me put simple here. Stepped up here. Tell me if you have a preference or if you like them both. You know, sometimes the simple Stampin' and paper, I mean, this is Stampin' designer paper and paper. But sometimes it seems a little plain because we're used to stepping everything up as avid card makers, crafters. Some of us do all kinds of scrapbooking, and we make wedding invitations. I mean, we make, you know, anything with paper we want to get our hands on. So we're used to doing a lot of stepping up. And for that reason, sometimes the quieter or simpler things are not as appealing to us. But I honestly think this paper is so bold and really pretty, rather dramatic. I think there's just a lot to recommend it. And I have to say that when this is my little designer series paper sampler chart, when I looked at these, this is my favorite piece, and well, this one is actually my favorite, and this is my second favorite. So I strategically went here to try to use some of the ones that I wasn't immediately drawn to, because I like to challenge myself. If you look here, there's a really nice color palette as well. So I used the soft succulent for this one, and then on my simple card, I went with the Cajun Craze. But look at that, it has a little bit of that Mary Merlot in there too. So that is what I have for you today, simple and stepped up stamping featuring designer series paper. It is on sale. Today is the first day of the sale, and this paper along with 8 others are 15% off for the entire month of July. So let's have a quick goodbye. I know that you have things to get to today, and I do too. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Simple and Stepped Up Stamping. It's what I do here every Thursday. We take something really simple And then we take the same thing and we step it up a little bit. And this is perfect if you're a brand new stamper, if you're not even a stamper yet. You're just a wannabe crafter and you're just lurking and you just kind of look at Pinterest and you dream about, yeah, maybe one day I'll have time to do those things. Or maybe one day, you know, I'll dip my toe in that. So simple and stepped up stamping is perfect for you because it's a great introduction to the world of paper crafting. But it's also really good for those of us who have been maybe stamping for a long time, maybe crafting for a long time, maybe our whole lives. But you know, simple is fabulous. And not everything has to be all, you know, tons and tons of detail. And actually, simple, I find, is actually more challenging because I'm like, well, I can always just add some ribbon to it. I can always just add some rhinestones to it. I can always just, you know, add this and add that and add that. And of course it's going to look great. But if you bring it down to the simple, it's sometimes a little bit more challenging, at least for my brain. And I think for a lot of us, because I think a lot of us tend to just keep adding. So that is what I have for you to do. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be here Tuesday for Teach Me Tuesday, and we're going to be learning some fun things to do with Designer Series paper. And if you do not already, be sure to join my email list, and that way you'll find out everything that's going on in my stamping world. And I will also be listing that new Garden Birdhouses card class for this month. So I will see you on Tuesday. In the meantime, be sure to share my video if you can. It helps me so much. Take care and God bless.